back at Campbell Scientific with the next troubleshooting video. This time we're going to just demonstrate troubleshooting the 16 touch keypad controller, part number 28005. If you ever come out and it has a fault shutdown error, there was a power loss, or it failed to complete the sample, you'll have a display right here that will give you a message with a fault. And if you come out and there's just solid black squares or something like this, and when you touch the keypad, if nothing happens, what do? You push the restart button. It just doesn't seem to be working. You think it's broken. The first thing to do is just go ahead and remove all 4 of the screws that hold this front cover on. I've already loosened the rest just to make this a little quicker for us. Once we remove and loosen these 4 screws, you can lower the lid from the front. Just want to be careful and not tear that cable connector off for the computer there. The first thing to do is just go ahead and push the reset button, located right behind the display. If you just look down on it, you can see it right there. Push that down, hold it, and it will come back up and tell you that it's been set to the factory default settings, and you're going to have to reprogram it. Now while you're right here, one of the things to check is if this internal battery, part number 13519, is below 2.6 volts or lower, then it's time to replace it. So let's just very quickly, while we've got it here, let's check the voltage on it and see where we're at. If the voltage gets down to that point, then what happens is it can lose the program that you have stored in it or begin to show other problems. And so what we see is this battery says it's 3.667, so it's a fully charged battery. It's very important and very critical that when you remove the battery, that when you go to replace this battery, make sure that you have the power to the sampler on and that the controller is on. If you don't, what happens, the capacitor can become discharged if when this battery goes low, and when you put that new battery in, if the power is not on, it will discharge the battery to recharge the capacitor. Now at this point, if that doesn't fix it and pushing the keypad doesn't work still, and you're still not, if when you push the reset button nothing happens, the next thing we want to check is the voltage coming into the controller. And right here there's a ground little terminal, and we want to connect to it and then the power coming in. And let's get it on there so it won't come off this time, right? The voltage coming into that should be between 13 and 14 volts, and as you can see here we have 13.86 volts coming into the controller. That tells us then that the power supply that is located directly behind the cabinet here, the power supply is functioning properly and we're getting the correct voltage into the controller. If it were less than that, then we'd know that we have a different problem that we need to look at. And if the keypad is completely worn out, you can replace just that keypad if needed. And once we have all of the screws cinched back down and secured firmly, then we need to go in and reprogram the controller to whatever the program is you had set before. Easiest way is just to push set and then start with start delay disabled. By pushing the left or right arrow keys, we can scroll through the other options. Once we make the correct selection, we're going to press enter, push set again, number 5, and again you'll see the same options, and right or left arrow we're going to scroll through, and depending on whatever your permit requires you to sample by, you're going to set that up. And then we're going to do a set program type. Is it composite, daily, consecutive? The different options there, just scroll through. When you're finished, you're going to press enter. And when you have everything completely set, you're going to push the restart button 2 times. One thing that is very important as well is that when you reset the functions or the controller, we need to go in and change the purge time. And so we're going to push set, number 3 other options. We can set the clock here by pushing enter and check yet, but we're going to scroll through and we want to change the purge time. We need to change the purge time if you have a 25-foot hose to 10 seconds at least. The factor or the formula that we use for calculating how long it should be is 2.5 feet per second for each foot of hose, and so for a 25-foot hose that's 10 seconds. After you've finished, you push the restart button 2 times and your sampler is ready to go and will begin to sample based on the sampling program that you have set. Thank you. If you have any questions or other problems, give Campbell Scientific a call and ask to speak with this application engineer.